Hi, my name is Heidi Fencl. I am professor of physics at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay, and I'm here now to talk to you about the Tuning Initiative. Tuning is a process, is a discipline-specific process, and it has the goal of answering two questions. Those questions are, what do students need to know, and what do students need to be able to do when they graduate with a degree or with a major in a particular discipline? The full tuning process, if you are truly tuning the major, involves bringing together educators from multiple institutions and from multiple institution types. So educators from public and private institutions, from 2-year and 4-year and perhaps graduate degree granting institutions. And although it is spilled out linearly on the slide, the process, of course, is not linear and is very dependent on the group, on the discipline, on who is working with the major, but it involves a few key elements. So defining the discipline core, what does it mean to have a major in this discipline? Looking at where majors at graduates go, what their career pathways are with degrees in that discipline. And then identifying stakeholders, and you tend to think maybe, oh, employers, but of course stakeholders are also graduates. Stakeholders are also their families. So identifying the stakeholders for that degree, for that major, and then through conversations with the stakeholders, redefine, hone that discipline core, and essentially come together with learning outcomes at different levels, at different degree levels for learning in that major. And then, of course, there's implementation at the end of the process. Very key to the idea of tuning is that the implementation is discipline specific. It is not, the process does not define how you are going to meet the learning outcomes, how you're going to teach, but rather the process of tuning aims to identify those two core questions. What do students need to be able to do? What do students need to know when they graduate in the major? And the institution and the faculty members themselves implement or teach the courses as they would, focused on those outcomes. If you're interested in a good overview of the tuning process, use the search tool on this page, and you can find the document Tuning American Higher Education, the process, and that gives you a beautiful layout of what the key elements of tuning and how you go about tuning happen to be. A little bit of history on tuning. So tuning began in Europe. It is now spread worldwide. In the United States, Tuning USA began with support from Lumina Foundation for 6 pilot projects in Indiana, Kentucky, Minnesota, Texas, Utah, and 1 multi-state collaborative. And you can also search this page for their final reports, and you'll find, if you read the final reports, that many of the faculty members who were involved in tuning really found that it was the process that had more impact on them and on their teaching than did actually the final learning outcomes. Now, that said, there absolutely is value in the learning outcomes that other teams have developed. So through those 6 pilot states, biology, chemistry, business, communication, education, a number of engineering subfields, graphic arts, history, mathematics, and physics have all been tuned, have all gone through the process to the point where learning outcomes, well, past the point, but to the point where learning outcomes have been developed through those pilot projects. So again, using the search tool in the just-in-time aspect of this page, you can search by discipline, you can search by the keyword outcomes and process. So if instead of going through the process yourself, or if you are not ready for the process yourself, but you are interested in using the outcomes or seeing the outcomes that have been developed by other groups in your discipline, then you can find those through these targeted excerpts from the reports and get to them directly through that just-in-time page. Finally, I want to call attention to the fact that this page, this hub, is intended to be a dynamic and interactive community. So as you do any work related to identifying the learning outcomes, related to looking at stakeholders within the major, within the discipline, please submit that work to the tuning page, and you're able to do that, as you see here, right from the page. And also come back. This is a community. Come back, join the conversation. You can use this page to connect with other educators in your discipline or not in your discipline who have interests related to the particular questions of tuning, to what do students need to know and what do students need to be able to do when they graduate with a degree in a particular major.